So it's time to add barriers. We need a new barrier class, which will inherit the console base. Now, here we need a private string array that will contain a barrier, and in the constructor, we just add a new string array. And here in another file, I have prepared the barrier that I've designed from chars, which we just add. So now we have a barrier variable. Now let's add public void plot, and we need a coord entity coordinate first, which we send an x and y variable to the constructor, and there we set the coordinate to a new coord entity x and y. All right, now we can think about the plot method here. So what do we need to do? We need to loop over each row here of the barrier, which will be 4 rows. So let's create a constant for the 4, barrier height. So private const int barrier height equals 4. Now we just do at underscore coordinate x and underscore coordinate y, and then we just add the current row of the barrier indexed by I. We set the color to red. All right, now we need a barriers class that will contain a list of barrier objects. So we create a generic list of barrier objects called barriers. And in the barriers constructor, we set the underscore barriers to a new list of barrier objects. And here we'll loop over the number of barriers that we would like to add. We need a constant number of barriers, which we set to 4. And here we just do underscore barriers dot add new barrier. Now we need to send the x and y coordinate. I've already figured this out, so the solution is that we'll write 16 plus position times 20 and 51 for the y coordinate. We create a new int position, which we set to 0 and which we increase in the loop. So the init, okay, let's call it the start x position, will be 16, and then we set position offset instead of 20, and finally y pos for the y position, 51. All right. Okay, that was the constructor. Now we can do the plot function, or the plot method, which will be easy. We just loop over each barrier in the underscore barriers and call barriers plot. Now, in the game class, we need a barriers object, and we instantiate it in the constructor, and then finally we plot it also in the constructor. There we have the result. As you can see, it was not working as intended. In the barrier class, I need to add plus I here in the plot function, plot method. And there we have our barriers.